Hello friends, welcome to the second session under machine learning lecture series. Now, we all know machine learning is what? We are trying to teach machine to learn by itself, right? When the machine is learning, there are different algorithms which machines can be trained using, but these algorithms can be classified based on the way they learn about the data to make predictions. So there are two types. You have supervised machine learning and you have unsupervised machine learning. Supervised machine learning, there is something already existing using which machine tries to learn. Unsupervised, there is nothing, there is no historical data, there is no data set available, trained data set available with the labels. Machine tries to learn by itself. Right? But most of the practical machine learning uses supervised machine learning. So today we'll talk about supervised machine learning. Right? So supervised learning is where we have input variable X and an output variable Y. And what we need is we use an algorithm to learn the mapping function from the input to the output Y. That is Y is equal to f of X. The goal is to approximate the mapping function so well that when we have new input data X, that we can predict the output variable Y for that data. Right? So supervised learning requires that the data used to train the algorithm is already labeled with correct answers. So here we need already labeled data. Right? Now, supervised learning problems can be further grouped into regression and classification problems. You can have this further divided into regression and classification problems. Right? Now, both problems have the goal as construction of concise models that can predict the value of the dependent attribute from the attribute variable. Now, what is dependent attribute? So we have two types. We have independent variable and we have dependent variable. The independent variable is the condition that we change in our data set. It is a variable we can control. It is also called independent because its value does not depend on its or nor it is affected by the state of any other variable in the data set. Suppose we have a set of variables in the data set. So one of the variable, or you can say the column which contains the data, is independent. Whenever the values of other columns is changed, there is no change in this column. This column remains as it is. So this is independent variable. Similarly, we have dependent variable. So the dependent variable is the condition that we measure in a data set. Here we are assessing how it responds to a change in the independent variable. So here the concept is totally different now. In case of independent variable, it doesn't get affected at all. But in case of dependent variable, if you make any changes in independent variable, it will affect the dependent variable. This concept of dependent and independent will be more clear as we go ahead. Fine. Now, the difference between the two tasks, that is classification and regression, is the fact that the dependent attribute is numerical for regression and it is categorical for classification. Fine. It is categorical for classification. Now, why we are supposed to learn this classification and regression and all? What is our main motto? Main aim is what? We are going to come up with some predictive models. Predictive models is what? There is some historical data. The machine learns from that historical data, and whenever the new data is given, it will predict the output for that particular new data. So here, in fact, what we are talking about is predictions. Fine. So what is predictive modeling? So it is a problem of developing a model using historical data to make a prediction on new data where we do not have the answer. So predictive modeling can be described as a mathematical problem of approximating a mapping function f from input variable x to the output variable y. So this is also called the problem of approximation. So machine learning algorithms are described as learning a target function f that best maps input variable x to an output variable y. So we have y is equal to f of x. The most common type of machine learning is to learn the mapping function y is equal to f of x to make the predictions of y for new data of or new value of x. So this is called predictive modeling, and our goal is to make the most accurate predictions possible, right? So generally what we do is we divide these predictive models into regression task and classification task. Right? So let us look at the regression task. Right? So what is this regression? So regression is a problem that requires the prediction of a quantity, right? So it can have real value or discrete input variables. A problem with multiple input variables is often called a multivariate regression problem. A regression problem where input variables are ordered by time, it is called a time series forecasting problem. So in case of regression, your output is always a numerical value. Fine. The prediction is always a numerical value. So regression predictive model predicts a quantity, right? That is what we said, it's a numerical value, it's a quantity, fine. So the accuracy of the model must be reported as an error in those predictions. So whenever you are making the prediction, you need some benchmark to find out, okay, whatever the prediction is made, whether it is correct or no, or how, to what extent it is acceptable, fine. So let us look at regression as a predictive modeling. So the regression predictive modeling is a task of approximating a mapping function f from the input variable x to a continuous output variable y. Remember, the output variable here is continuous. So a continuous output variable is a real value such as an integer or floating point value. These are often quantities such as amounts and sizes. So here we take a simple example of a house. Fine. We have a house of 100 square feet, which is predicted to sell in the range of 50 to 55 lakhs, depending on the city where it is located. So this is a given data set. You have the city and you have the value in lakhs of a house, which is of 1,000 square feet, right? You can just see in the Kolhapur, the house of 1,000 square feet will cost between 18 to 25 lakhs. In Pune, it will be 35 to 40. In Mumbai, it will be 50 to 55. Similarly, Nagpur, Sangli, Nanded, and Amravati. So what we are going to do is, we are going to predict the value of a house. It will learn from this, and then once a new city is given, it will predict what are the chances of the value of that house in that particular city. So this is a problem of regression. So here, when you are talking about regression, again, if you remember in the beginning, we spoke about dependent variable and independent variable. Now in this data set, what is dependent variable and what is independent variable? So here we have independent variable, that is city, right? Because city is not dependent on how much the house is costing, but cost of house is dependent on the city where it is located. Getting my point? City is an independent variable. It does not depend on the other values in the data set, but value in lakhs is a dependent variable because value depends on the location where it is, where location of the house, in which city it is. Fine. I hope the concept of dependent and independent variable is clear, right? What you should remember is regression gives you a numerical output. Now, once you get the output, some predictions are made using regression predictive modeling. How do you measure the correctness of it? So for that, we have something called root mean squared error. We also call it as RMSE. Now, there are many ways to estimate the accuracy of regression predictive model, but perhaps the most common is to calculate the root mean squared error. For example, if a regression predictive model made two predictions, a simple example, like we are considering here only two predictions. One of them is 1.7. So the prediction made is 1.7, but what was expected was 1.2. Remember, machine predicted 1.7, but it should have predicted expected value is 1.2. In another instance, machine predicted 2.5, but the expected value was 2.1. So there is an error. We expect 1.2 and output is 1.7. We expect 2.1 and output is 2.5. So here we need to calculate the error, that is root mean squared error. So how do we calculate it? It is square root of average of error square, right? So here we have only two instances. So what is expected to predict is 1.2, but what is actually predicted is 1.7. So you take the difference and square it, plus again the same thing, expected and predicted, minus it and square it. So if you have many observations, you can keep on adding them. Here I am taking an example of only 2 instances. So the concept is a bit easy to understand. After you square them, you add them, and then you take the average, right? Because we have only 2 samples, so we're dividing it by 2. Once you get the output here, right, you add it, and once you average it, you take the square root of it. So here you have square root of 0.205, which is nothing but what you get is 0.4527. The benefit of RMSE is that the units of the error score are in the same unit as the predicted value. You can see the predicted value, and these are in the same unit, right? So an algorithm that is capable of learning a regression predictive model is called a regression algorithm. Let us look at some examples of regression. Okay, predicting age of a person. Now, age of a person is a continuous variable, right? You will say, okay, 3 years, you can say 18 years, you can say 21 years, 3 months, fine. Now, another example can be predicting e-sales based on the amount spent on e-advertisement. Now, there's lots of advertisement going on social media. So companies spend sufficient amount on advertising on those social media. So whenever there's an advertisement on the social media, what is the expected sales, right? So again, here, if you can talk about e-sales and advertisement as dependent and independent variables. Next, what you have is predicting the number of second-hand cars which will be sold next month. So here, what they do is they collect the data of some literally 5 years. Just check the pattern in which what type of cars are sold in which particular period of the year and what is the demand. So accordingly, it can predict, okay, for next month, these are the probability of sales of the second-hand cars. There are many examples, but I think these 3 are sufficient to understand the basic concept. Next, what we have is classification, right? So classification problem is when the output variable is a category. Remember, in case of regression, the output variable is a numerical value. In case of classification, it is a category. It may be like male or female. So depending on the handwriting, what we can say, like suppose a handwriting is given, you scan it and you predict whether the person who is written is male or female. So here you have category, there is no numerical value, right? And it may be yes or no. The labels may be simply yes or no. It may be like whether tomorrow it is going to rain, yes or no. So these are the category, outputs are category. So here a classification model attempts to draw some conclusion from observed values. Observed values are nothing but the historical data. So given one or more inputs, a classification model will try to predict the value of one or more outcomes, right? For example, when you are filtering emails, so emails, you know, already we get whether it is a spam or it's not a spam. Even when you're looking at loan transaction data, the probability of loan repayment may be yes or no, because when you look at the paying behavior of the customer, the client who has taken the loan, we can predict what are the chances of the loan repayment by this particular client. Fine. So in short, classification either predicts categorical class labels on or classifies data based on the training set and the values in classifying attributes and uses it in classifying new data, right? So here you already have a data set available with the class labels. We use the data set, we train our model, and we test it, right? And whenever a new data appears, we give it to the model and check whether it is classifying the new data correctly or no. So there are number of classification models like your classification, including logistic regression, decision trees, random forests, multilayer perceptrons, k-nearest neighbors, etc. Of course, in the next session, we'll be talking about k-nearest neighbor. Now let us look at classification as a predictive modeling. The way we saw regression as a predictive modeling, now we'll look at classification as a predictive modeling. Okay. Now, classification predictive modeling is the task of approximating a mapping function f from input variable x to discrete output variable y. Remember that it was continuous in case of regression. In case of classification, it is discrete output variable y. So the output variables are often called labels or categories. The mapping function predicts the class or category for a given observation. A classification problem has a discrete value as its output. Now let us take an example here. Now what we want to classify, like some people, they like chocolate syrup on their ice cream, especially when you eat vanilla ice cream, you see to it, you like having a chocolate syrup on it. But some people may not like it. So what we are doing is we are having a data set here where we have the age of the person, and we already have the labels associated or the class labels associated with the data set. Like here we are saying, if the age is 18, then the chances of liking chocolate syrup on ice cream is yes. If it is 28, yes. If it is 56, no. If it is 78, no. If it is 19, yes. If it is 39, yes. If it is 40, no. Right? Now, given this data set, what is expected is next time I will give an age, it will predict whether they like chocolate syrup on the ice cream or no. Fine. So here again, what we have a predictor and a label. Right? Remember, predictor is independent and label is depending on the predictor. So to predict whether someone likes chocolate syrup, you're indicating as 1 on the ice cream, or not is indicated using 0, that is yes or no, based on the age. That is a predictor, right? So this 0 and to represent the output label of a classification algorithm as integer numbers such as 1, -1 or 0. In this instance, these numbers are purely representational, right? These are not a numerical value. These are the categorical values just to represent yes or no, that is 0 or fine. I hope classification predictive modeling is clear. Now, as we saw in case of regression, once the prediction is made, we always need to find out its accuracy, right? In case of regression, we use root mean squared error. But here in case of classification, we calculate the accuracy using confusion matrix. But here we are not talking about the confusion matrix. Here I'm talking a simple example of, like, what you do is you find out the number of correct predictions which are made out of total predictions. So if the classification predictive model made 12 predictions and 8 of them were correct and 4 of them were incorrect, right? So here we are taking a simple example like that. 12 predictions which are made, out of 12, 8 were correct and 4 were incorrect. Then how do we calculate the accuracy of this model? So what we do is we just write number of correct predictions divided by total predictions multiplied by 100. So we have correct predictions at 8. Total predictions, what we have is 12. So we multiply it by 100. So the accuracy of this model is 66.6%. Right? So an algorithm that is capable of learning a classification predictive model is called a classification algorithm. So in case of regression, we use root mean squared error. And in case of classification, what we do is to check the accuracy. We have total number of predictions and we have total number of correct predictions made out of it. And then we have correct predictions divided by total predictions and multiplied by 100. So you get the result in form of percentage of accuracy. Fine. So classification problem requires that examples be classified into one of two or more classes. Like you can have binary classification, right? So classification can have real valued or discrete input variables. The problem with two classes is often called a two-class or binary classification problem. And the problem with more than two classes is often called a multi-class classification problem. So it may not be yes or no, spam or not spam. It might have more. Like if you're talking about some sentiment analysis, or if you want to just find out whether the reviews given by the customer are positive, negative, or neutral. So in this case, you have three categories. You have positive, negative, and neutral. So that is a type of multi-class classification problem. Now let us look at few examples of classification. Now the very first example we are talking about is predicting the gender of a person by his or her handwriting style. As we spoke in the beginning also, looking at the handwriting, the machine is trained to predict whether the handwriting is of a male or a female. So predicting whether monsoon will be normal next year. In case here when we are talking about the city Kolhapur, the important thing is to predict whether there will be floods or no next year. right? So this can be predicted by studying the historical data and then making a prediction whether there will be a flood or there will not be floods. Another thing can be predicting nationality, which is again a categorical data. Predicting whether stock price of a company will increase tomorrow. So here the class label will be either yes or no. Another thing is to predict the possibility of winning of a match by team A on the basis of some parameters recorded earlier, right? So then there would be again two labels, yes and no. Fine. So I hope the concept of regression and classification is clear. So we begin our lecture with supervised machine learning. So in case of supervised machine learning, you already have some historical data with labels associated with it. And this historical data is used to train your machine. And depending on the way it is learning, right, what type of output is expected, we have regression and classification. If your machine needs a numerical output, we go for regression. If your machine needs some categorical output, we go for classification. Fine. I hope the concept is clear. Thank you. Next lecture, we'll look at classification problem. And that will be k nearest neighbor. Thank you.